You're listening to Kerry Lutz's Financial Survival Network, where you get valuable information you just can't find anywhere else. To thrive in today's trying times, you need the Financial Survival Network, now more than ever. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and get your free newsletter and gift. Financial Survival Network, now more than ever.
Welcome. You are listening to the Financial Survival Network. I'm Kerry Lutz, and today is 3/4/21. Well, you might be looking for new things to do. You might be looking to really change your career path. And I know it sounds a bit mundane, perhaps, and a bit tried and true, but you probably haven't thought of insurance. And the person you're about to hear from, a long-term insurance person, and has been doing this for 10 years now, and is going to explain some of the opportunities available to you as an insurance agent. And if you got any questions, comments, thoughts about this area, I'd love to hear from you. The email address is kl@kerrylutz.com. Right now, David Duford is with us now. Dave, it's great to have you on. So insurance, tell us how you wound up getting into this field and why it's a good idea.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me on the show, Kerry. I really appreciate it. Like many people in my business that end up selling insurance, it was out of accident and complete desperation. I had a personal training business back during the Great Recession. I'm sure much of your audience remembers the tough years that preceded the market collapsing and Main Street was struggling. And my business was no different, and couldn't figure out a way to make the personal training business work. And I didn't want to go get a real job. So I'm somewhat of an entrepreneur myself. And through my due diligence and research, stumbled across insurance. Of course, never really aspired to be an insurance man. I don't think anybody ever does. But the reason I was attracted to it is because, simply put, the demographic trends with baby boomers, we focus on a product called Final Expense, and it's really sold to people who are retired or disabled. And there was just an underlying, almost like certainty in this particular product that wasn't nearly as affected as, say, personal training, which is largely discretionary income based. And what we did was focus on targeting people who were 50 and older, lower income, and working in a strategy in that direction. So I failed out my first attempt, really, into the business, came back after a while, and have since then done very well, have an agency, train agents how to do it as well. So that's kind of my story in a nutshell.
All right. So, and I assume it's been a good experience for you?
Yeah, for the most part, you deal with, a lot of insurance agents, they deal with I guess you could call the white collar class, people who you think of your doctors, your lawyers, your very important people, right? And there's a bunch of agents going after that particular segment of the market because they've got a lot of money. They have estate planning issues, questions, et cetera. A lot of people don't go after the lower income, the masses, if you will. And that's where our specialty really lies, is we go after, you could call the ma and pa, salt of the earth, Joe Sixpack. And what's nice about it from a business model is people are more approachable. They're one-call close opportunities. It's a simple product that you can serve millions of people from coast to coast. And many people who end up retiring just simply don't have enough money. They thought they would retire with more, and they don't. They still have a need for insurance because guess what? We're all going to die. It's just a matter of when, not if. Mm-hmm. And they need to have it paid for. So that's where the real opportunity begins.
Uh-huh. Okay. So, and what about training and things like that? How do you get trained, and does the training work?
Yeah, so absolutely. A big push, and I'm a small business, I guess you could say, in the scheme of things. There's a lot of competitors that are competing for new agents to join their agency. And the one common complaint you hear from agents that work with me or who are looking around is it seems there's a big hoopla, a big push on the extravagance, the almost like a multi-level marketing type of culture. And it does definitely exist. Some of your audience may be aware of what I'm talking about. And there's very little emphasis placed on training, helping people become top producers. So the way, as a small business in this, sea of, competitors, the way I differentiate myself is we do a significant amount of training in groups, self-study, mock presentations. We have a script that we help develop for the agents. We listen to recorded presentations to help them improve their understanding of the script and what happens in real life. It's very intensive. It's very detailed. the goal is to have an agent sales ready in as little as 7 to 10 days, sometimes 15 to 20 days, depends on the market, depends on the product, and have them competent enough to go out there and speak with confidence that they can help people and improve their insurance situation. So training's huge. You got to be trained to do well in this business, just like any other training and just like any other business model.
Yeah. So what kind of person, Dave, succeeds in this industry? For the most part, how would you?
Great question. That's like the $64,000 question for me, because if I knew exactly which of my agents are going to succeed and the background and the type of experience and pedigree they'd have, I'd be retired. I wouldn't be on your show right now, right? So it's an interesting business, because you'll have people who do well from some walks of life that don't perform well in this. And I couldn't tell you really why. That's just not for them, or they're just not used to in-home sales. Likewise, I'll have people who, like, for example, my best agent in 2019 was literally flipping burgers at Walmart and started selling insurance. And 2 years later, at 21, is a top 2% income earner in our particular niche. So it's a vexing question. If you have the answer, let me know. But I think it's more of a personality thing. You know, somebody who's coachable, somebody who is humble and will take advice, somebody who can follow directions, and definitely has a work ethic is certainly a requirement.
Yeah, well, work ethic to succeed in anything, really. You got to have work ethic. Yes. What about the age of these people? Do you see a particular age group doing better than others?
Not really. You know what? You get a lot of young men that are just starting their career, and they just happen to come across this in their 20s that do very well. I've had men, a lot of my agents very early on were men that were hitting their 50s, and they're reaching a point in their life where they're very qualified, but nobody wants to hire them. They're looked at as a liability. I think they call it ageism. And they have to reinvent themselves because they've qualified out of their job. They're too expensive. So they restart themselves into this new career. So we've seen success across the board. And that's what's great about it is there's no resume, there's no pedigree, there's no, background that's necessarily better than another. You can come into this business with no sales experience, with just a desire to win and do very well.
Interesting. So they basically, what you're telling me is that all of these guys kind of defy stereotypes, right?
Yeah, they do. I mean, it's again, I one of my longtime agents trained Tennessee walking horses back in the day before he jumped into this. I've had former drug reps that have done well, medical device salespeople, burger flippers, like I said. It all comes down to the character of the individual. And I think that's true of all sales. The certain type of person is made for sales. It's not so much background as much as it is just what do they bring in character traits to the table to succeed. And that's certainly what I think at the end of the day works well for us if they stand a chance in this business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you get the feeling like some of these guys, it's their last chance to reinvent themselves and to succeed?
Sure. I can think of several right now that are in their 70s that are jumping on board here. They're bored of retirement. I've got a lot of guys that they did well in business and they retire for 6 months and they thought, well, this ain't what I thought it was going to be. But they don't want to necessarily go grind it out 60 hours a week. They want to do something part-time, want something to do. So for sure, yeah, they come back into the business or go back into business, feel like they have some value, some worth they want to provide, helping people, making some money. And yeah, you'll get some people who certainly jump from opportunity to opportunity that just try and find their way, so you kind of get a good cross-section of everything.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So what is the thing you've learned from hiring these people most?
Don't just survive, thrive. The Financial Survival Network.
Goldterra Resource Corp is a gold exploration company that has assembled a highly prospective district-scale land position on the doorstep of the city of Yellowknife in Canada's Northwest Territories. Goldterra is currently focused on expanding and delineating gold resources at the company's Yellowknife City Gold Project with a goal of discovering over 5 million ounces. With ready access to infrastructure and multiple high-grade gold discoveries, Goldterra is on track to reestablishing Yellowknife as one of the premier gold mining districts in Canada. Goldterra trades as YGT in Toronto and YGTFF on the OTC. For more information, go to goldterracorp.com. That's goldterracorp.com.
This is the Financial Survival Network. The information you need to thrive now more than ever. It's
extraordinary to be successful in life. It's at the end of the day, It's just like small businesses with us. The vast majority of people aren't going to succeed. What is it? 90% of small businesses fail in 5 years. It's a similar failure rate in insurance sales. And I think the reason why is because ultimately selling insurance, at least with us, is not a job as much as it is a business. You have to purchase leads. You have to run appointments. You have to get out there, experience rejection. You have got to consistently execute, all without somebody yelling at you to go out and do it, right? Because you're running your own business.
Sure. So yeah. So what can you make doing this these days? I know the industry's changed. I know the business is a lot different than it was many years ago, where you had really a good chance of really above average income.
Sure. I can tell you a good agent by their second year full in the business should be netting an income in the lower 100,000s. That's what I feel is the gold standard. And I look at it this way. We do straight commission sales, and it's tough work. It looks easy for a professional to do it, but when you do it, it becomes much harder than you thought. So my thought was always, if you're not making that kind of money, this probably isn't a good business for you. Now, the best of the best are making in final expense, which again is a niche of many different insurance products. The best agents I've seen have netted an income above 200,000. Now, if they get into other product lines like Medicare is a residual-based product that pays a passive income. 1,000 clients will pay $270,000 a year for life. That's what Medicare pays to the agent to maintain and keep their clients on the books. So I've seen agents who've hit that. I've seen agents who've done a lot more. Of course, by no means is this average. Let's be honest. It's exceptional to be very good. But this is an example of what's possible for the person that really wants to apply themselves to the kind of training and systems.
So it's hard to be good, huh?
Oh yeah. I wish I could make everybody good, but you got to have something unique and special in you to do well. And I think that's just a reflection of just everything. It's
so what's more
the way it is in a sense.
What's more important, persistence or talent?
Oh, persistence. I'm a natural introvert. I used to be afraid to call Pizza Hut when I was a kid, but I always had a drive to succeed and a willingness to make myself vulnerable to learn. And I kind of adapted an extroverted mindset to sell. I think you got to have that to do well. So if I'd rather take somebody who will work hard versus a charismatic Tony Robbins type that may be lazy. If I could find all those, that's what I'd want more than anything.
Yeah. So work harder or work smarter? Which is better?
Yeah, great question. I liken this to a comparison I make to the difference between effectiveness and efficiency. I think Drucker mentioned this in one of his books. To me, harder is more important in the beginning. I think you got to pay your dues. I think you got to put the time in. I think you got to sacrifice something to be successful. And I think smarter is a bit overrated. Now, in the long run, I think you should learn, once you have worked hard and paid your price, how to become smarter in your application. But certainly in the beginning, hard work is critical. It gets a bad knack, but a lot of people are lazy. They need to work hard.
Yeah. And do you ever see lazy people become hard workers?
Not really. Lazy people are lazy unless they get a fire under them, that something motivates them in life. Again, like the gentleman I was talking about, Ryan, who is 21, top producer, he was lazy in his first 6 months, and then something happened. I don't know what it was, but he got motivated all of a sudden, and he had a reason why to work 6 days a week, 12 hours a day.
Yeah, well, I've seen it where people have a kid, their spouse gets pregnant, and then they realize there's no backing up, or they're in danger of losing their home to a foreclosure, all these different sorts of things, right? It's not uncommon to see these transformations take place, but they are relatively rare.
And it's good, and it's good that they see these senses of, these inflection points, right? Where it's not just about them. They've got somebody else to worry about, like a spouse or a kid. And
exactly.
And it's good that they have that perception, right? That, now I'm thrusted into a position of leadership, and what am I going to do with this?
Yeah. Or responsibility. Yeah. Right. Well, hey, so people want to find out more about what you're doing and connect with you on the web. How do you do that?
Yeah, I'll give you 2 different places you can go. You can go to davidduford.com. That's my website. Check out what I have to offer and how my program works there. There's several links in the menu. Check out the free agent resource guide. So this would be perfect for anybody looking to get into insurance. I've got a bunch of articles that I've written that really give you a lot of inside baseball of how the business is. If you're the type that likes to watch videos, if you're a YouTuber, I'm on YouTube. I put out daily content. If you go into YouTube and put in David Duford, you'll get be inundated by my YouTube content, which goes over insurance sales and marketing stuff. So make sure you check that out. Subscribe if you like.
All right.
And we'll see you somewhere out there.
All right. Hey, and any questions or comments, we'll shoot them off to David. Send me an email to kl@kerrylutz.com. David, a pleasure and good luck, and keep cranking out those agents.
Thank you, Kerry. I appreciate it.
Thanks for listening to Kerry Lutz's Financial Survival Network, your solution to today's trying times. For the latest, go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com. Financial Survival Network, now more than ever.